Welcome to our study called Canaan's Curse. And in this study, we're going to look at Genesis 9:18 through 29. Today is the introduction. In the garden, Adam and Eve sinned against God. We know that. They had paradise before them, but they chose to go against their Creator. God had mercy on them. But as they began to have children, it was obvious that a sinful nature had infected the human race. The sin that was crouching at the door was let in by Cain, and his descendants left the door wide open for sin. The sinful nature and rebelliousness spread to each successive generation. However, not all was lost, which is great news, for there were men in the line of Seth that called upon the name of the Lord. There was Enoch, who walked with the Lord, Lamech, who prayed and believed that it would be through his son that humanity would find rest. Then there was Noah, who did all that God commanded. Noah walked with God. Noah was a righteous man and was blameless before his generation. He did not follow the ways of almost everyone else. He didn't fill his life with violence. When God commanded, he did it without really any sign of hesitation. Noah was the exception in his day. After the flood, there's an anticipation, a hope that things would be different. Maybe all of the evil had been wiped out of humanity. The earth had been cleansed, after all. But even in the promises of a new future from God, there were announcements of coming evil. God spoke of murder and the need for punishment. The violence that all flesh had participated before the flood seems to not have been cured, and there was still evil around. Evil had been punished, but not ultimately dealt with. At the end of this chapter in Genesis, we find that Noah was a man that walked with God. He was a man, and that's the problem. He was a man who was blameless in his generation, but he wasn't perfect. As JC Ryle said, the best of men are men at best. It seems that sin was a stowaway on the ark. This uninvited guest makes its presence known not too long after the events of the flood, and is still with us today.